Hello, everybody. My name is Tula, and welcome to Gap Year Diaries. It's been a little bit. I think it's probably just been like 2 weeks, but I was feeling kind of not in the mood to record. Maybe it was the holidays, maybe it was just like a little bit of winter depression, but there was just something in me that was like, no, I do not want to pick up that microphone. I don't want to set up that camera. I was not feeling it. But today I got a sudden rush of inspiration and I got a sudden urge and desire to pick up that microphone and to have a little chat. So this is completely unscripted. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I mean, it's a new year. There are plenty of things we can talk about just because, lots of things are happening and just want to get into that good vibration, good vibe, good energy, good spirit. I mean, like we're 7 days into the year, which is honestly crazy. Like it still takes a minute for me to compute that this is 2026 and this is the year we are living in now. I turn 20 next month. Holy crap. I still think about when I was 18 and I still think about when I was 14 and I still have memories from when I was 3 years old. And so to believe that I've been on this earth for 20 years, or yeah, because the 20th year is ending, which means I'm turning 20. It's just a little bit crazy and it's a big year. I mean, like energetically and just in terms of like things I want to do and things we want to do and goals we have in our lives, not just me, but everybody. It's an energy. I mean, just looking at like Chinese zodiac and Chinese astrology and the lunar astrology, maybe that's what it's called. But we're moving in from like the year of the snake into the year of the fire horse, which are super, super different energies. And I've done a little bit of research on that. Yeah, it's just super, super interesting energies. And I've really spent the first week of the year identifying and trying to like look back and reflect over my year and be like, what has this year taught me? Because, year of the snake, it's a little bit of uncomfortable energy, and like numerologically it's a 9 year, cycles are closing, things are ending, things are completing. Maybe things we didn't want to say goodbye to, you had to say goodbye to. And those two energies working together, it's very interesting. And to move into this new year 2026, which is a 10 and a 1 year, and we'll be moving into the year of the fire horse. It's just like almost a complete 180 in the terms of energy. And so I've really been trying to take the time to reflect and understand what that means in my own life and try and identify what goals I want to do and things I want to accomplish and just things I want to do. And yeah, and honestly, for a couple days I was like, ugh, do I even want to have a podcast? Like, like these are the kinds of things I was kind of battling with because, well, next week I start a dance program and I'm a vocal student and my classes begin tomorrow. And, I have multiple jobs. I have some shows going underway. I really want to travel again this year. Like, lots of things are like happening. And right now is the time where we're like setting those blocks up so that we can, we're setting up the dominoes so we can let them fall and we can do the things we want to do. But at the same time, it's like so much contemplation over like what is going to stay and what is going to release. And so to start off this year, I've thought a lot about like having a word that reflects just this energy for the year. And for me this year, that word is play. Because, I mean, there are so many things in 2025 that I did not do because I was just so busy overthinking and so busy just obsessing about external opinion and external validation. And I saw this video. It was from the YouTube channel, the It Girl Playbook. And it's just like a faceless channel, but she had some really cool insight and just like the beauty and like attraction of play. And when you play in life and when you approach life through the attention of playing and enjoying and finding pleasure in life, you like signal to the universe that you want more. You want more of this goodness because clearly what you have like makes you happy. And so you don't overthink it and it doesn't stress you out to just have so many thoughts. And so when you play and you have this energy of just playfulness and pleasure and joy and happiness and love, like you attract more of that into your life, and that may even be the things that you really want and like things you're hoping to accomplish. And so yeah, play is a big word for me. I'm very excited because in the realm of content creation, podcasting, I really want to have like a Substack and a digital community, and I really want to create that this year. I've got some things going underway, but at the same time I'm like, am I ready for this? Am I ready for this? And, one step at a time. But in 2025, I felt like I held myself back just so much because I was so obsessed with what other people thought of it. And when people would see it, see like, Instagram content I was doing or anything on TikTok or my podcast, it made me like a little nervous, like a little insecure. And so I realized that deep down it was a thing of like having a fear of being seen. But at the same time, like it's kind of a gray area because I literally put myself out there to perform on stages and to audition for people and to like sing on stage for adjudicators literally so they can give me feedback. And so it was just this really interesting balance. I think so much of it would be because, one thing is in person and the other thing is online. But when I do stuff online and people in my real life see it and tell me about it and how they like it or how maybe they don't like it or just tell me their thoughts about it in person, I'm like, like I like contract a little. It like makes me feel like a little bit icky, and I don't really want to feel that because I would much rather be like a playful, expressive person than somebody who's too scared to share their personality and share parts of their lives and share their own thoughts and opinions. I feel like, due to the internet and social media, like what we express on the internet is honestly just so different from what is actually going on in our real lives. And we have become so obsessed with, influencers and celebrities and like these parasocial relationships. And I followed this what's her name, she's a celebrity coach and she's friends with celebrities, and she was talking about like this is how to become famous, this is the mindset people adapt when they are becoming famous or they want to be famous. And in my mind I'm like, oh, this is a thing I could do because I want to attract people to see my stuff, because fame is just being seen on a very large level and it's like the art of keeping people's attention. And at the same time I'm just like, oh, do I want to? Like right now, this period of, it's not the fire horse yet, it's not the lunar new year yet, that happens next month, but it's the final month of the year of the snake. It's like, what am I gonna shed away? What are these layers I'm gonna peel back and like express and reveal like my truest, most like raw and authentic self? And because of social media and in the internet and just so many things that we are so exposed to, and this is truly like an age of like overconsumption. Oh my gosh, like I'm guilty of it too, I'm sure we all are. Like we can't like go 5 minutes without not listening to music or not listening to a podcast. But with the year of the snake, final month of the year of the snake, just shedding all these layers and like expressing our most authentic selves, I think it's really important to embrace your authenticity and find confidence within your authenticity. And it's a lot of work. It can be tough. Like it's like it whoa. It like kind of made my heart feel something. But it can feel really hard to like put yourself out there entirely, trying to be like entirely authentic, entirely yourself. And there may be things where you feel like, oh my gosh, what if people don't like my authentic self? And to that I say, there's 8 billion people on this earth. There's gotta be somebody. There's gotta be one person. There's gotta be maybe 10 people who see you and love you for exactly who you are. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's just how I'm feeling right now. It's a little cray. I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. But yeah, I mean, at this time, I'm trying to figure out like what it is I actually enjoy doing, and I'm really trying to narrow down like the kind of like I have certain goals, but it's also like a thing of figuring out what is the best way to go about these, cuz like I said, like last week I did not want to pick up a camera, didn't want to pick up a microphone, did not want to post a podcast episode. And here I am. And when it comes to things like building a digital community, like those have to be done. Well, if you're doing like a school community or something, or like a course, like those have to be done like with video. And what if sometimes I don't want to talk to a camera? you know? But, there are other ways you can figure out how to turn your goals into a reality by not doing what everybody else does. Which actually reminds me of this whole purpose of this podcast. I was discussing with my mom, or yeah, well, we both work from home and we're like on our computers in front of each other on the table. We like co work together basically. And I was trying to get super, super clear on the purpose of this podcast, on the purpose of Gap Year Diaries. Because when somebody hears gap year, they might think travel. That might be the first thing that comes to mind. Because, I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I hear gap year. Or just like, yeah, because when I took my first gap year, I went traveling. And so when you say gap year, I think travel. However, right now I'm on gap year number 2 and I'm not traveling. Like gap year number 3 will start in next September because somehow I just line up my life with the different school years. But yeah, and so I've been really thinking about like the actual purpose of gap year diaries. And honestly, like I've been really proud of some of the episodes I put out, like following your passions and competition within the performing arts and getting started as a professional performer. But at the same time, those require like a lot of research, a lot of research, a lot of planning, a lot of scripting, lots of notes. And honestly, like, I don't know how much I want to do that. Well, yeah, I mean, like, this podcast is, it's like, it's my thing. I can do whatever I want with it. And I think to have a title like Gab Your Diaries kind of makes it super fluid in that way because it's like a digital diary. And I'm just saying the things that are coming to mind, and I talk about my experiences and how I feel and what they make me think, and maybe some things can help you. But when we're living in this like creator economy world and doing content creation, and our attention spans are so short now. Like it literally, it need like if you're scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Instagram, like your brain needs zero point 0.4 seconds now to figure out if something's worth your time or not. Before, like 2025 or 2024, like it took 3 seconds for a video to capture your attention. So that's why hooks are important and all that to like grab the attention and make sure that your person watches your video the whole way through. But now it's zero point 0.4 seconds. Our attention spans have shrinked so much. And like I felt just so like plagued by that, honestly, because I was so particular about like scripting and hooks and like really keeping the attention of my viewer, and then I would do something and then I would post that kind of video and it wouldn't get views, and I'm like, ugh, then why the hell am I doing this? And that kind of brings me back to my word of play. Like, I don't want to think that much about this. I simply want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I simply want to do it and express it out into the world and share what I have to say. And I don't want to plague myself with overthinking and being worried about external opinions when, like, honestly, like, who freaking cares? It's, like, not that deep. And even though like it would be so incredible, like it would be so amazing to like have content creation as my job and to like make money from Instagram and make money from a podcast and actually have like a digital community which I earn revenue from, that would be so incredible. And like that is one of my goals. However, at the same time, I think overthinking just really holds me back. And so when it comes to things like Instagram and podcasting, I think it's okay to just play and have fun and just express yourself and be creative. I mean, when we're constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and doing all and watching these people supposedly living amazing lives, and then you're thinking, "Oh, how can I make videos like this?" or "I want to live their life." Literally, babe, put down the phone and just create. I saw a video yesterday, like I was just scrolling a little bit, and somebody posted a video and it said that the opposite of depression is not joy. The opposite of depression is expression. And so, if we all want to feel like a little bit more joyous in 2026 and have a little bit more fun, like you need to be creative. You need to make something. Like literally origami. Like you can make something. Like you can just fold some paper. You can draw. Like I love to do so many things. I've recently fallen back in love with playing the piano. I haven't played the piano in so long, but now that means that my guitar is just sitting and collecting dust a little bit. But I love just playing the piano, my super basic, mediocre the piano playing and singing along, and that just makes me feel like so good. So good inside. And I'm going to start dancing next week. Ooh, I'm actually so, so, so excited for that. And I think it's beautiful if we document that sort of expression and then put that out into the world. But I think sometimes if we think so hard about, the likes or the views or the shares or the followers, like that sucks all the fun out of it. And then I feel like there's a difference between like showing the creativity in the video or making the video the creative thing in itself, which is like, film and videography, which is awesome. But sometimes if we're trying to express and show this one thing, but we're so focused on the other thing, the of like the creation and like the look of it all, that also makes it just like feel not so fun. So why don't we just like click post? Why not? And yeah, and I think, putting down the phone is just gonna help us all out a little bit. You know, you know what I've started doing again and what I've really been enjoying? Reading. It's so nice. I love reading psychology books. My house is literally a library. My mother was a school teacher and I like books. Did I read them? Like no. Let's see. I'm sitting next to a bookcase. I love a free library. And one time I was in this little town outside of the city I'm from, and we went to this cafe, and across the street from the cafe was a free library where they had a whole trilogy of fantasy books. This is, A Darker Shade of Magic by Victoria Schwab, who I know is a great author. However, I've only read probably 4 or 5 chapters of the first book. Like, literally, I cannot read fantasy. But what I do love reading is psychology, and I love reading about spirituality. And so, let me just put these books back. And so, I've been reading a lot of psychology books. The Four Agreements, I've read that twice now. It's a teeny tiny little book, but it's been so good. I mean, like, that book is how I live my life, honestly, because I recommend to anybody to read The Four Agreements. I mean, like, I'm a pretty spiritual person, but religion doesn't really do it for me. I totally entirely believe in higher powers, but I don't know. I would call it God maybe, but I also prefer to call it the universe or source energy. But, stories of the Bible, like I'll listen to them and I will take the lessons from them, but will I live by them? I'm not entirely sure. But I've been reading this book called Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. And oh, that's a pretty good book. It's a very, very, very hard read, but I'm on like chapter 4. I'm on chapter 4 and I started reading it in December. And it's a January now, and it's just a really tough read because like it's a fat book. Is it over there? I feel like maybe you can see it right there in the background. It's a pretty fat book and the writing is teeny tiny, but it's super super cool because it combines lore and stories from like way back when. Like it could be like how would I describe these stories? I mean like the author calls herself like a cantadora, which is like the story keeper, and through these stories of women and which represent like the inner psyche sort of, it combines like mythology, that's the word. It combines different kinds of mythology with Jungian psychology. And I really, really, really like Carl Jung psychology with like the idea of archetypes and, conscious, subconscious, and the persona, things like that. It's so, so interesting to me. And this story, like, it's so interesting. And I read a similar book last year called Goddesses in Every Woman, which was by Dr. What's her name? Jean Shinoda Belen, I think. And that was a very similar style of book combining Greek mythology and Greek goddesses with Jungian psychology and archetypes and like showing how each goddess is like an archetype within the woman's self. Yeah, I think it's so cool. And honestly, I love reading. I'm also reading right now. It's called Write It Down, Make It Happen, which is about writing practices and, literally freaking journaling and how like writing signals to the subconscious and starts making things happen for you so that you can actually get things you desire. And so I've started like a writing practice, which is also, yeah, I've really enjoying like just journaling. It's I journal anywhere from like half a page to like 2.5 pages every day. And they're not massive, but like literally I don't care. I have like 4 journals. And I always carry one with me and it's great. And I think these sort of things like literally going back to analog, which is a thing I think is going to happen in 2026, like going back to analog, getting off our phones, going back to iPods, going back to CDs, going back to books. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those are things that I think are going to really heal our subconscious. I mean, really heal our attention span. So I'm glad to be back. I'm happy. I'm so excited for this year. Happy New Year, everybody. And I think Gap Year Diary is going to take a little shift, less essays and less how-tos, and more just, you know, conversations. I don't think a conversation has to be scripted to be a good conversation. And even if I trip over my words, like, I hope I'm still getting my point across. And we're all still learning. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's learning. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be alive. Like, I think this is going to be a great year. I have so many goals and I really want to continue doing this podcast. And I don't want to pressure myself so much. But I still want to keep like these conversations going. And yeah. Okay. I will see you all next week. I love you all very much. Bye bye.